Good afternoon and a warm welcome to KBC Lunchtime News. Many thanks indeed for keeping me company for this 1 hour or so. A packed bulletin that we have for you on a day that the President just assented to the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act, kicking off the economic growth that he talked about and our journey as a country to Singapore. Later on in the business segment, I will be hosting Rina Gore, who is the founder and CEO in Intelic Solutions, and will be decoding business growth, and especially when it comes to MSME. And in sports, of course, all the latest from Canada, USA, and also Mexico, and a great disappointment after Egypt were knocked out of the tournament yesterday. But we still have hope that Morocco will make the continent proud. And also on All Kalau, we have our very own Kevin Washira, who is keeping tabs with what exactly is happening there. So for me and Lucy Mwaura, who is our sign language interpretation, we say welcome. We kick off with this story where a standoff has emerged between the Kenya Wildlife Service and leaders from Kajiado County over the delayed transition of Amboseli National Park management to the county government. Local leaders are now accusing KWS of frustrating the process despite a transition agreement announced by President William Ruto last year. Aaron Marie has that report.
A dispute is brewing over the management of Amboseli National Park. Leaders from Kajiado County are accusing the Kenya Wildlife Service KWS of delaying the implementation of the management agreement. According to the Transition Implementation Agreement, the first phase of the 50-50 revenue sharing arrangement was to begin in the year 2026-2027 financial year before the county assumed full management in the year 2027-2028 financial year.
2025 November 8, the President signed and decreed and ordered that all legal hurdles were completed. The capacity of the county government to receive the park was assessed and found satisfactory or good enough.
The agreement followed President William Ruto's announcement during the Maa Cultural Week celebration at Amboseli National Park last November.
Sisi wakati rais aliturudishia Amboseli kupitia viongozi wetu, tuliongoja iwekwe mikakati yote ile ambayo alikuwa imekubaliwa, na tulikuwa tunajua ya ukweli tarehe 1 Julai mwaka huu. Hata sisi tulikuwa tunauliza county government, tuko tayari kupokea ile share yetu, sababu hatukutoa ardhi bure, tulitoa tufaidikie, tulitoa kulinda wanyama wetu.
Hakuna kumikisho kila bless mlikuwa mnangojea, ni kwamba mlikuwa muondoke. Na sisi tumekubaliana kama viongozi, Amboseli ni ya Kajiado na ni ya community yetu ambayo tuko hapa sasa hizi.
However, Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenko says the transition has stalled, accusing KWS of frustrating county officers and failing to honor the agreed roadmap.
The revenue sharing arrangement was to take effect 1st July 2026. KWS have flatly refused the county government staff to access gates to allow the revenue sharing element to take space.
The dispute now places the spotlights on the implementation of the transition agreement, with local leaders demanding that the government honor its commitment while maintaining conservation gains in one of the Kenya's premier tourism destinations. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Aaron Marie.
From Amboseli National Park, we now cross over to Nyandarua County, and to be specific, All Kalau, where you bear me witness for the last couple of weeks and months, both government and opposition have camped there to campaign for their candidates ahead of the polls next week. My colleague Kevin Washira Geshoki is currently on standby, as you can see on your screen, and now brings us this report. Good afternoon, Kevin, and what more can you tell us in regards to the last minute's preparations?
Well, thank you very much. We are coming to you live from All Kalau constituency, Nyandarua County, where in the next 1 week, the people of All Kalau will be heading to the polling stations to decide who will be their next representative in the National Assembly. And what is happening right now here, UDA party, that is the ruling party, is holding meeting with the mobilizers and coordinators of its campaign strategy. For the final lap. This is the final week ahead of the by-election that are slated for Thursday next week. And joining me is MP Sabina Chege, karibu sana. Maybe you can tell us what is the agenda of today's meeting and what is the strategy the government is employing to ensure that it wins the UDA this seat?
Well, I may not be able to give and say so far so good. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Olkarau people, because initially there are people who said we cannot come here. We were threatened that if we want to come to Olkarau, we have to leave our will with our families. But we have found very warm people in Olkarau. We have found people who have desires for development. And basically what we have been doing is just to align with the development agenda. Basically that has been it. We have gone to the villages, we have talked to the people, and you have seen several projects that the government has done. And these are projects that the late Honorable Kiaro had started before, and some of them were not completed, some of them are ongoing, and some of them will still continue even after the by-election. But basically is to make the people know our candidate, because already a lot of people on the ground had been poisoned, and people had been given a lot of false information about the government, and especially also about the candidate, because he's aligned to the former member of parliament. And so we have interacted with the people, we have had a conversation, and so far I would say so good. Apart from that, we have the people who have been going with us to the ground, and like today we are having a meeting just to brief them and do a bit of some training by the time we get to the 16th. So that we make sure that whatever we have managed to gather, they will come out and vote, because there basically is a call to come out and vote for our candidates. I just want to say vote for Samuel Mushina Nyaga, because he's a candidate, and this candidate is the one who is development oriented. We have no problem with other candidates, and because they have taken the issue to campaign for 2027, for us we are campaigning for 16th of this month, that the people of Karau to be allowed to make their own decision, to be allowed to have a member of parliament who is going to be development oriented, who is going to work with them by February. All seats are going to be declared vacant. People are going to start nomination of various parties. So we never know. But for now, would want these developments, the people of Olkarau to be allowed to decide. And I also want to call upon the young people, because we have seen some of the leaders who have been inciting the young people. Please, if somebody tells you to go to the street, ask them first to send their sons or daughters, or himself, or his wife, or his or the husband, first of them, foremost for them to go. Number two, let the Olkarau people decide. Let us allow them to go out there and vote for the candidate of their choice without intimidation. We have seen a few incidences where people have disrupted meetings, where people have come in and have also taken materials. They have spoiled the banners, the billboards, and also removing posters. But this is part of the campaigns. And so for us, we are saying, even if you remove those banners or you remove the posters, our candidates in the people's heart, because he's able to connect with the people and especially connect with their hearts.
Finally, how important is this seat for the ruling party as we head to the 2027 general elections, considering that politics is all about perception?
The seat is important not only for the ruling party, but for the people of Olkarau. I've been here. I have seen the kind of development that has been not just Olkarau, but Nyandarua. And because of the resistance that have been there before, Nyandarua somehow have been left behind by the previous government. My appeal to the Olkarau people, it is your time. It's about you. It's not about the government. It's not about the government that will come. It's not about individuals who are now gambling to get the national positions, and they want to use the Olkarau people to show their might. I want to tell Olkarau, it's about you. If you do not have electricity, if you do not have a good road, if the University of Nyandarua, other counties have 3-4 universities, you do not have even one single university. It's about that JM hospital that has not even gotten to level 5. The government just donated 900 million and the hospital is still incomplete and has no machines. It is about the stadium that was started, it's not complete. It is about the development. So I want to tell all Olkarau people, it's not about anyone. It's not even about me. I've only come here to give you information. The choice is yours. Take up the information because it is about you, the Olkarau person. For once, I want to encourage the people of Nyandarua and especially Olkarau constituency, vote wisely, be selfish. Don't vote to impress anyone. Vote for yourself because you are the one who needs electricity, you are the one who needs that water, you are the one who needs that thing that you need most. I or the other people might not know, but I know that what you desire. With this election, if you vote for development, if you vote for the government, this dream will be there.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
That was Sabina Chege, nominated MP, telling us about the campaigns that are ongoing here at Olkarau. And as you've heard it, the choice will be made by the people of Olkarau come Thursday next week. We are back to you, studio now.
Thank you, Geshoke Wachira, live from Ol Kalou, just giving us a brief of what exactly is happening. There is last-minute ditch, especially now that the by-election will be taking place next week on Thursday, 16th of July. Remember, it was after the death of David Njuguna Kiaraho. There are 9 candidates who have already been cleared for the by-elections, and both the opposition and the ruling party, UDA, as you have seen, talking there to Sabina Chege, have camped there. And she said that some of the projects that had been left by Kiaraho are being completed and will be completed by their UDA candidate, and of course the opposition also are rallying their candidates. The 2 contenders, there are 9, but Samuel Mushina of UDA and Sami Kamau of DCP expected to be the 2-horse race. Anyway, moving on, women have been urged to take a leading role in advancing sustainable peace through education, networking, and community-led initiatives. The International Women's Peace Group says empowering women and strengthening partnerships will help build resilient communities, with Kenya set to benefit from grassroots peace programs. Speaking in Nairobi, International Women's Peace Group Director Baek Sun San urged Kenyan women and peace stakeholders to work together in promoting dialogue, unity, and a culture of peace. The organization says its grassroots initiatives will empower communities while strengthening women's role in conflict prevention and sustainable development.
The primary goal is to connect women peace leaders into one strong network and establish a systemic platform for cooperation that can sustain practical peace activities together in the future. IWPG is working for the solidarity and the education that is needed for women. So please do not hesitate. Please join us together and grab our hands. Let's find out the practical work we can cooperate together, and let's work for peace together, and let's make the beautiful world in Kenya.
The Kenya Environmental Health and Public Health Practitioners Union and 4 other health workers union have issued a 3-day ultimatum to Kakamega Governor Fernandes Barasa to facilitate the signing of a recognition agreement, threatening to down their tools if the stalemate is not resolved. According to the unions, the county attorney Vivian Mbaka delayed the process by failing to attend a scheduled signing ceremony at the Kakamega County headquarters, despite an official invitation from the county government. Secretary General of the Kenya Environmental Health and Public Health Practitioners Union, Brown Ashira, said the recognition agreement is essential for formal labor relations and future collective bargaining agreements, CBAs, warning that unless the county government signs the document within 3 days, health workers will withdraw their services.
County attorney is not above the law, and we as unions, we are not happy. We came here, we have spent the whole day, we have agreed on a myriad of issues, only to come at the tail end to disagree. 3 days, we have almost 5 unions here. We have the KUNAD, we have the NAPET union, we have the UKS union, we have NAMLO and everybody. Bwana Barasa, we are telling you, we are not happy in Kakamega here. Sack hiyo mtu. Futa hiyo mtu and county attorney. Because actually, he doesn't love workers.
The ceremony aborted because a county attorney was nowhere to be found. We want to condemn the county attorney of Kakamega County for letting the governor down.
From health to electoral matters, where the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has invited the public to participate in a public participation exercise on the draft regulations, authorized expenditures and spending limits. In a notice, the Commission says it will be accepting memoranda until the 15th of July 2026. In a Gazette notice released by IEBC, Section 29 of the Act empowers the Commission to issue regulations on expenditure rules, contributions, disclosures, monitoring, record-keeping, and related matters. In addition, Sections 12, 18, and 19 require the Commission to prescribe contributions, spending limits, and authorized expenditures by Gazette notice at least 12 months before the general election. The notice further directs the public to access the draft regulations, authorized expenditures and spending limits on the Commission's website. The memoranda may be sent to ipa@iebc.or.ke or hand-delivered at their offices in Anniversary Towers. In other news, a family in Kakamega is demanding answers from authorities after their kin was hacked to death in what is alleged to be a family land dispute. The family of Thomas Wandabwa claims the attack was carried out in the presence of local administrators who they accuse of inaction when the violence broke out. Danton Idante brings us this and more in our county news wrap.
The incident occurred during a boundary demarcation on a family land in Marakusi, Lugari sub-county. One of their uncles is said to have disrupted the demarcation exercise with the help of hired gun who attacked the family, hacking Wandabwa to death. Police have since arrested 3 suspects in connection with the killing as investigation continue.
Walikuwa wamekujako na survey, wakafukuzwa na panga. Ndiposa mzee akaenda kwa ofisi akaripoti ya kwamba msikuje bure siku ya leo, mkuje na security. Serikali, mimi nataka tu haki ya mzee wangu kwa sababu amekufa kama ako na kibali chote cha shamba lake.
Meanwhile, the government has allocated 2 billion shillings to facilitate the promotion of more than 50,000 teachers across the country who have remained in the same job group for an extended period.
The government, they have given as additional funding 2 billion courtesy of the Education Committee to promote teachers. For the last 3 years, we've recruited 3,158 teachers here.
Separately, student teachers and the community around Kisima Girls High School in Samburu County are celebrating the opening of a 300-bed dormitory. The new facility, funded by President William Ruto and the Office of the County MP, eases the congestion headache in the school.
I'm really delighted to have the new dormitory that has eased the congestion in school. Previously, we had students sleeping in classes because we didn't have a dormitory, and it was hard for them to even bathe. There was no bathroom, there were no toilets, and they were really squeezed for us.
And at least 35 teachers from public school in Isiolo County have received crucial training targeting to strengthen delivery of new computing curriculum in schools.
Compare what we have in our institutions and what we have in the institutions in this county, especially those running this ICT program, where it is integrated in teaching and learning. These children are a notch higher.
Finally, Mombasa Sub-County Police Commander Nicholas Chelulot has called for closer collaboration between security agencies, boda and tuk-tuk sectors to enhance security while promoting safer business operations across the county.
Nataka kushukuru the leadership of boda and tuk-tuk kwa ile kazi wanafanya. Tunataka tushirikiane zaidi mpaka tuhakikishe kwamba those who are not on the membership hawana stage, hawa ndio wakora, watafute mahali ama wakae kwa area yao.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Danton Indande.
Now, leaders from the Endorois community have renewed calls for the Kenyan government to implement a landmark court ruling that awarded the community compensation and land restitution following their eviction from their ancestral land over 5 decades ago. Speaking during a burial ceremony, Baringo Senator Kiprono Cheptumo called on the government to address the historical injustice by implementing the Africa Commission's decision without further delay. He said fulfilling the ruling would restore the dignity of the Endorois people while demonstrating Kenya's commitment to upholding human rights and the rule of law. Community leaders also appealed to the government to engage them in meaningful dialogue and fulfill the commitments made under the African Commission's decision.
Kumekuwa na boundary dispute. We have never defined between a boundary of the community and the National Game Reserve.
Kiangalia shida za Baringo ya ni zile zinaitwa historical injustices. Na historical injustices inaweza tatuliwa kupitia ile maktaba au ile historia ilikuwa imetokezea hapo awali. Na wazee pamoja na watu hapa wanaelewa hiyo mambo.
Lakini jambo la ajabu ni kwamba wale waliotolewa kwa Lake Bogoria mwaka wa 74 leo wao wasee wana jamii kubwa sana watoto wao. Mpaka saa hii hawajakuwa compensated. Yaani kupewa kitu ya kusema pole kwa kupeana ardhi yao kwa serikali for the creation of Lake Bogoria National Game Reserve.
In other news, emergency medical services at Samburu County Referral Hospital are set to improve following the installation of a solar power system aimed at addressing frequent electricity outages that have disrupted critical care. The initiative is expected to ensure uninterrupted service in key departments, including the maternity, newborn theatre, and oxygen support units, while also reducing the hospital's electricity. This comes after residents suffered years of recurring power outages in Maralal town, which posed a major challenge to healthcare delivery, with patients requiring emergency treatment often at risk whenever electricity supply is interrupted. Residents have welcomed the installation of the solar system, saying it will guarantee reliable services, particularly for patients on oxygen support and mothers with newborns.
Tumefungua solar system ambayo itasupport maternity na newborn unit wetu. Hii itatusaidia especially wakati tunapata power shortages, ambaye imekuwa ni kitu cha kawaida hapa kwetu, na pia itatusaidia pia kupunguza gharama ya umeme.
Nashukuru kwa sababu ya sola, sababu mtu ikiwekwa oxygen na stima ipotee atapata shida, na saa hii hawezi pata shida sababu sola anafanya kazi.
More than 300 squatters from Segera Ward in Laikipia County have protested what they claimed was persistent harassment by security agencies after a piece of land they have been occupying for years was allegedly grabbed by a prominent rancher. The squatters claimed they have lived on the land for over 3 decades until recently, when the rancher, who also owns huge tracts of land in the neighborhood, laid a claim on it. The squatters claim their woes started or worsened after police officers from the nearby Ngarengiro police station evicted them from the property, destroying their dwellings during an operation.
Ni mkazi wa Ngarengiro, miaka nenda miaka rudi. Saa hii niko na generation tano ambayo ni maskota. Hii shamba ni ya serikali ambayo ilikuwa kambi ya stock, anti-stock theft. Hii iko Naibo. Wakati crime ilikuwa huko mingi, ndio walitolewa hapa wakapeleka Naibo.
Kwa maisha yetu sisi tumeishi kutoka 1996. Tumeishi area hii. Shaajabu. Shaajabu. Mahali tunaishi, tunakuja kubomolewa. Sisi tukiwa tunabomolewa area sisi tunaishi, sisi tutakwenda wapi? Tukila mwaka tutaishi pale squatters. Tukahama huko tukaona hapo tumefinyana, tukakuja kushika area hii ambaye mtu mmoja ameshika zaidi ya eka 20. Anataka kupeleka sisi wapi? Anataka kutuweka sisi wapi?
Still on land matters, a land ownership dispute in Suna West Sub-County is threatening the future of more than 126 dispensaries in Migori County. The dispute has already stalled the completion and operation of 2 dispensaries, raising concerns over access to primary health care services in rural communities. According to a report a recent report by the Migori County Assembly Committee on Health, only 6 of the county's 131 dispensaries have valid title deeds, leaving the vast majority dependent on community goodwill and informal land agreements. Residents are now urging the county government to fast-track compensation negotiation and secure ownership documents for public health facilities to avert a possible healthcare crisis.
This hospital not to work is that we are getting the information that the owner of this land want to be compensated. Saying that this thing, they should resolve this matter amicably. If those people want to be compensated, they should give him the money so that this hospital start functioning. Because our residents are suffering. We are just seeking the treatment from the Kitbulo dispensary, the Ragana Health Center, or the Rebagongo, that is a neighboring, and the referral hospital.
Hospitali haiendelei, hawaendesi vizuri. Sasa serikali ya saa hii ndio ameharibu hii hospitali. Sasa waketi chini watengeneze vile wanaweza kutengeneza, hata kulipa walipe ili amani ikue.
At about 24 minutes past the top of the hour, time for me and Lucy Maura to take a quick break. But when we come back, we still have more news, including the interactive segment I mentioned earlier on. We'll be hosting Rina Gore, the founder and CEO of Intellect Solutions. We'll be decoding business growth. If you have a small business, if you are an SME, this is your chance to know exactly what you're supposed to do to avert some of the business disasters we have seen, and also how to revitalize your business. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Quick balls into the area. Another one lofted in. It's a cross in front of goal. Chabert should be on run alert. It's in the net. Lionel Messi's rescued them again. It's another one for the record books. Another one for the collection. And he has single-handedly dragged Argentina back into this game.
It's millimetres between progression and going out.
Star 977 hash or download my Power app to access Kenya Power services fast and easy. Kenya Power, nuru ya
Welcome back to Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Many thanks for keeping me company. Moving on, the High Court sitting in Naivasha has temporarily lifted a warrant of arrest against a couple in the U.S. facing charges of conspiring to murder 5 of their kin, including their mother. High Court Judge Cecilia Gedua gave a couple of weeks reprieve to Amos Wanjiru and his wife Alice Muya after the lower court ordered their extradition to face the charges. The two are jointly charged with their 73-year-old father, Francis Muya, with 5 counts of conspiracy to murder their family members. The father, Muya, has already been charged that on diverse dates between the 1st of March and the 2nd of May 2024, jointly with others not in court, he hired killers at a cost of over 3 million shillings to murder his estranged wife, Rose Njeri Muya. He also faces 4 other charges of conspiracy to murder Anthony Mwaura, Martin Muya, Alex Muya, and Oprah Muya, the farmer's 3 sons and a daughter, respectively. The defense counsel, Edwin Njagi, had gone to the High Court under a certificate of urgency, seeking orders to stop the arrest of the 2 who have been accused of ignoring court summons.
I don't know whether he has got any instructions on the issue. Yes, leadership.
Now, police in Mahanga, Vihiga County, have launched a manhunt for a murder suspect reported to have killed his mother-in-law by stabbing her several times on what is said to be a revenge mission. The suspect is reported to have been agitated after his wife left following frequent domestic violence. According to the daughter of the deceased, Belinda Minayo, she was awakened by screaming from her mother outside their house, only to find her lying down in a pool of blood. The suspect is reported to have ambushed her mother-in-law outside her house at night as she went for a short call. The area chief of Mungoma location, Easter Videja, confirmed the incidents, saying that the DCI had taken over the case with further investigations continuing. The body is lying at the Vihiga Referral Mortuary awaiting post-mortem.
Niliamuka nikakutana na babangu kwa mlango yangu. Alikuwa anadhania ni mimi napiga mayowe. Kidogo nikasonga na nikamulika jikoni, nikapata mlango umening'inizwa kidogo, lakini mama yangu yupo chini. Nilikuwa sure bet ni baba ya mtoto wangu, ambapo alitutishia, alituma vitisho, akatuzia uoga, akasema kama nimemkataa atakuja kuangamiza kwetu.
Pokea simu kutoka kwa mzee wa mtaa ambaye anaitwa Francis Andiva kwamba kuna mama ambaye amedungwa visu. Wakati nilihoji mzee anielezee ni nini ambacho kilifanyika, mzee alilia kwa uchungu, akasema kwamba yeye anashuku mshukiwa mkuu ni yule kijana ambaye alizaa na msichana wake.
Very well, now it's time to make sense of business, and as mentioned earlier on, we'll be looking at how to spark growth in micro SMSs and of course decoding business growth. That is what we'll be looking at. And before I introduce my panelists this afternoon, small and medium, it's worth to note that small micro MSMEs, all those small businesses are the backbone of Kenya's economy. But looking at some are struggling financially to either kick off or even to spark growth in that. And now to our live discussion, Rina Go, who is a financial systems strategist, is also the founder and CEO of Interleague Solution. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
First and foremost, I noticed you are a financial systems strategist. For the purposes of this interview and for our audience, what exactly do you do, and why is this role becoming increasingly important when it comes to SMEs?
Exactly the way you said, you know, it's very important. Right now, Kenya is having more than 60% of our businesses are MSMEs, right? Yeah. And if we really help them grow with a systematic approach, we can be one of the best countries in the world which we deserve to be there, right? So for me, it has become a passion. I have been a CFO for quite some time, and now I decided that now I need to do so much more than working for a company and help MSMEs grow.
Now, straight to the question, many businesses are focused on only increasing sales, and we are looking at some of fail despite having strong revenues.
Right.
That is not balancing out. What could be the issue here?
So there are 2-3 issues that goes in that area. One, your pricing. Is your pricing, have you captured your fixed cost, variable cost, you know, depending upon the sales that has increased. Second, how much debt you are having. So many a times, a lot of businesses think that, you know, if I have to grow, I need more money, more debts to carry. But have you carried out the whole analysis of whether this debt I'm going to repay in how many years, the whole calculation, the ROI part of it, that is also equally important. So, and the cash flow conversion cycles, that is not taken care of. A lot of SMEs, they miss out on that, the daily breakdown of their cash flows.
I'm looking at some of the financial mistakes a business make, in as much as we are looking at pricing debt, and maybe someone has looked into all that but is still not breaking even. What are some of the mistakes that could be holding that person or that business from scaling up and enjoying what, after you've invested a lot of money, you want returns?
Right. So another biggest mistake, because we are talking about SMEs, MSMEs, they come from family-owned business or a solopreneur, and the person wants to do all the tasks himself. The correct systems, the system strategies that I talk about, the system that each and every task can be assigned a right delegation of the work, and create those systems so that you don't do everything. You start delegating the things and create a team. Replicate your leadership.
And we're talking about financial system, and just like I mentioned, you're a financial system strategist. And what exactly does it mean in practical terms, especially for somebody with a small business?
So for a small business, I would say it is a lot of time it's overlooked. People think that when my business is small, I don't really need so many processes, only when I grow. But only if you start building those systems right now is when you will be able to grow. So that's the paradox. It just keeps on coming back to you. You first think that less system I should do after the business grow, but it's other way around. You have to first have the systems in place.
We are looking at technology and automation, and many businesses have embraced this. And how important is it, especially for small businesses? Others choose not to automate because they feel that their business has not really scaled those heights.
I think, in fact, for small businesses, it is more important to automate themselves. With AI now, you can have, a business, an agent working for you on your emails or, scheduling your tasks, everything in $20. So you don't really have to hire a full-time employee. Actually look at how you can automate tasks and use AI for that matter.
I noted you've written a book, Decoding Business Growth. What exactly is in that book, and why would you recommend it, especially for small businesses?
So this book is actually designed for all SMEs, as MSMEs, because I have divided it into three parts: finance, people, and operations. These are the three pillars for any business. So, and it has a practical case study. So it's not a theory that you just read about leadership, about some. No, it has a practical case study. For example, someone running a trading business. What might be the issue and what is the solution and how you can implement that. So a practical toolkit.
And is it out already? How many for businesses? Where can they access it?
Thank you so much. So it is available on Nuria Bookstore, and yes, it is already. I'm launching the book tomorrow, but it's already available with Nuria Bookstore.
And for any business that wants to scale, what financial foundations should they put in place to ensure they have a good foundation so that when they scale up, they don't have the issues that we have seen small businesses shiver up?
Right. So monitoring your cash flow conversion cycle daily, because there is a law that's called law of processes, which means you don't grow in one day. You grow every day.
Yes.
Consistent efforts, if you monitor them every day, that's when you will actually grow.
And as we wrap up, what advice can you give to anyone who wants to start a business and maybe who is not breaking even? You find that you're just paying the bills and then you're back to zero.
Yeah. Start understanding the business. Apart from the technical part of it, start understanding where the management gap is and look into each and every aspect of your business, how the cash flow circle is moving, because that's the most crucial part of it. And you can read my book for that matter.
Yeah, maybe for small businesses, how much can you access that book?
For small businesses, it's of vital importance. They should actually, it is divided, so if you know that my finance is really a problem, the chapter, you can just directly go to that one specific session, read that, and you'll have a solution for you.
Rina Go, financial system strategist and also founder and CEO of Intellect Solution. We'll be looking at decoding business growth. And actually, she has written a book, Decoding Business Growth, which is recommending, especially for small businesses, if you want to scale, 3 things: finance, people, and operation. Thank you so much for that, and hoping that maybe we can give us more pearls of wisdom, especially when it comes to business.
Definitely. I look forward to it.
Thank you so much. Let's continue with our bulletin, where calls for cessation of police brutality and forced disappearances remained a subject of discussion among Kenyans a day after the Sabasaba Day commemoration. A section of leaders are calling on the government to intervene to address the rising cost of living and ensure justice and equity for Kenyans. Joshua Joel brings us all these details.
The Orange Democratic Movement has renewed calls for the government to review the compensation formula for victims of the 2024 anti-government protest, saying the process must be fair, transparent and inclusive. Speaking at Raducho Beach in Budalangi constituency, the party's acting Secretary General Catherine Omanyu called for wider stakeholder consultations to ensure justice for all those affected.
Sisi kama ODM, we are still part of the solution. Tunataka tuhakikishe kwamba mtu akilipwa inalingana na uzito ya uchungu. Compensation must match the harm suffered. The government of today is our friend. So my plea is the handshake to match the smile.
Meanwhile, the Bagusi Cultural and Development Council leaders are demanding the government to move with speed to investigate and prosecute those behind the violence that broke out in Kiumbu during the Linda Monanchi visit, resulting in the death of one person and several others were injured.
Tuna raani hiyo kitu kwa kila njia na tunataka kuuliza County Commissioner na watu yake yote waingilie hii maneno. Tunataka kusikia msimamo wa serikali. Hiyo tuna demand, tunataka kusikia hiyo. Alafu viongozi yetu nimesema tayari, tunataka kusikia wanasema nini. Na tunashukuru wale wanyamira wachache ambao wameongea juu ya haya mambo, ambao ni MCS waliongea kwa niaba ya council assembly yao, walisema tukafurahi kusikia vile walisema.
Elsewhere, former West Pokot Senator and Senate Majority Leader Samuel Pogisio has announced he will be vying for governor in the next polls, saying he will focus on championing for peace and end to corruption and expanding the county's economic potential.
The people have suffered enough. These political divisions, to the extent that people who don't belong to a certain group cannot benefit from the county. I come as the neutral candidate in this case, a candidate who does not want to belong to any of the contestants in the other groups. Now I have to come in and create peace and bring order in the county.
For Lunchtime News, I am Joshua Joel.
Moving on, border operators in Mombasa County have been warned against being used by politicians to engage in goonism and criminal activities ahead of the electioneering period. Speaking at Tononoka grounds during the issuance of licensing documents to 1,300 border operators, Mombasa County Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir urged the youth in the border sector to shun violence and political exploitation, instead focus on business opportunities and skills development, even as the county works on to create opportunities for them. Sentiments echoed by the county border chairman Samuel Ogutu, who acknowledged their commitment to the plans laid to empower them through SACCOs and grow the sector.
We need to shun violence, tutoe mambo ya goonism, tutoe mambo ya kuwa sisi ndo ambao kwamba tunapeleka hizi crude weapons, sisi ndo tunapeleka wale ambao kwamba wataenda kufanya uhalifu katika mji na kuweza kuvunja mali ya wenyewe. That is not who we are. The sector of border is born out of sweat and it is born out of hard work. No one has ever been able to. Hakuna yule ambaye kwamba amefika mbali kwa uhalifu. Na uhalifu wa siku moja, siku mbili, usikuharibie maisha yako.
Tumekubaliana na wabunge wetu na gavana kwamba tunaanza kuwa na empowerment ya wanabodaboda ya Mombasa County. Ukiona kule katika nchi ya Kenya sehemu kadhaa wamefanya empowerment ya bodaboda Mombasa bado. Na hii ndio county 001. So tumekubaliana kwamba kwa hapa na Michi Mbogo na Mbadi na wabunge wale wengine tunaenda kufanya empowerment from each and every sub county ya Mombasa. kuanzia mwezi ujao hapo kwenda mbele, ili bodaboda wawe empowered, wasitumiwe na goons, wasitumiwe na wale wanasiasa wanakuja kutumia wanabodaboda kwa njia moja ama nyingine. Sasa hii kile tumesema kwamba na gavana kwamba bodaboda watatumika kuempower SACCOs zao.
Residents of Mogoga in Kikuyu sub-county are raising alarm over what they term as serious air pollution from a dumping site where factory byproducts have been burning for 3 consecutive days. The waste, believed to include byproducts from shoe sole and rubber manufacturing, has been releasing thick smoke and toxic gases that residents say are endangering their health. According to locals, repeated appeals to the relevant environmental authorities have gone unanswered. They claim that despite efforts by firefighters to contain the blaze, the fire continues to emit hazardous fumes. Residents say no government or environmental officials have visited the site to assess the situation. Some families have started relocating to safer areas, fearing for respiratory illnesses and other health risks linked to prolonged exposure to the polluted air. The affected residents are now calling on relevant authorities to investigate the source of the waste.
Ilikuwa kiwanda ya kutengeneza viatu ambapo ilikuwa associated na Bata, lakini kuna ile waste product ambayo inatoka kwa viatu ndio ilikuwa imetupwa pale. So sijui kama wameamua kuchoma, ambapo ni kinyume na sheria. Walikuwa wanafaa waokote hiyo, watafute mahali pengine waende wakachome. Sasa sisi kama wakaaji wa eka 5 na wafanyabiashara hawa bodaboda ambao unatuona hapa, tumeshindwa kufanya kazi. Manake ile moshi inaziba kwenye koo zetu.
Sasa ikifika ni mahali unachoma takataka, mpaka hiyo harufu yenyewe inatuumiza kifua. Alafu ni wakati wa kibaridi. Changanya na baridi ya asubuhi na hiyo hewa sasa. Hatupumui hewa safi.
Tunataka environment department ya Kiambu County waje watuangalilie maneno yetu.
Still in Kiambu County, tea farmers in the county have opposed the proposed new taxes and levies on the tea sector, warning that the additional financial burden could cripple an industry already struggling with rising production costs and low earnings. Speaking at Gitwamba village in Gatondo North's constituency, the farmer said the crop, which has for decades been a major source of household income and foreign exchange earnings for Kenya, is becoming increasingly unprofitable. They further noted that some growers have already uprooted their tea bushes and shifted to alternative farming ventures that offer better returns.
We removed that tax over 10 years ago because we saw it was oppressive to the farmer. You are not going to introduce it back. Number 2, it is illegal because Parliament has not passed it. In fact, we are discussing Tea Act. And we have said as a committee, and you know, when we were in Mombasa last week, we told you categorically that we are not going to allow you to charge any levy to any farmer.
Hii biashara yetu ndio imetulea. Hii biashara yetu tumekuwa naye kwa muda mrefu sana. Na kwa saa hii imekuwa ngumu. Manake haina faida. Afadhali kukuza mahindi.
In business, more than half of the 550 registered savings and credit cooperative societies, SACCOs, in Homa Bay County are inactive in what officials blame on poor financial management, weak governance and loan defaults. Homa Bay CAC for Trade Elijah Dede says the devolved unit is strengthening the 200 SACCOs that are operational through capacity building and reforms aimed at improving sustainability and restoring members' confidence.
You are told to buy a motorbike alone. You may not be able to, but if you come about 10 of us, it's going to be cheaper. That's the power of numbers. That's what we are advocating for our people. Let us have the power of numbers to benefit us. Let us grow. Let us have hope. Let us do our farming in a collaborative manner so that If today you are the only farmer whose maize is doing well and the rest are not doing well, everybody will be coming to you. But assuming 10 of you who are doing well, nothing will come. So all of us will have a good harvest. So that's what we are trying to tell our people, to inculcate the culture of savings, that you don't know tomorrow what will bring. If you save today, it will help you tomorrow.
To inculcate the spirit of exchange programs, so that our people can go around and see for themselves the kind of investments, the kind of progress, the kind of economic empowerment that has come around because of cooperative societies.
To Nandi, where the county has introduced new measures to support avocado production and stop fraudulent traders accused of exploiting farmers by buying immature fruits at low prices. Nandi County CEC for Agriculture Dr. Kiplimo Lagat has warned avocado exporters that they should obtain licenses as authorities seek to protect farmer earnings, consumer safety, and Kenya's reputation in global markets.
It has been noted with concern that avocado industry is increasingly threatened by the following. One is proliferation of unlicensed and substandard avocado nurseries, sale of uncertified and poor quality seedlings, premature harvesting of immature fruits, unregulated buying centers and market channels. And these practices continue to undermine farmer incomes, damage the reputation of Nandi avocado in domestic and export markets, reduce fruit quality, increase rejection in international markets.
Further afield, crude oil prices have increased after renewed fighting between the United States and Iran raised fears of further disruption to global energy supplies and threatened a fragile ceasefire that had eased market pressure. Brent crude, the international benchmark, rose more than 3% to $76.48 a barrel, its highest level since June the 23rd, reversing recent declines that had pushed prices back to pre-conflict levels. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines from other parts of the world.
The latest surge in crude oil prices followed U.S. strikes on Iran and Washington's decision to end a temporary waiver allowing some Iranian oil transaction after attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military said the strikes were in response to attacks on shipping in the strategic waterway, while Iran has not accepted responsibility but warned it would take action to protect its security interests. The uncertainty over control and access to the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global oil shipments, is keeping crude oil markets on edge and raising concerns about prolonged supply disruptions. Meanwhile, Uganda's coffee export earnings fell sharply in May as lower global prices and reduced shipments hit the country's biggest agricultural export. Uganda earned $151.7 million from coffee exports during the month, down 38% from $244 million recorded in May last year. Export volumes also declined 22%, with Uganda shipping 617,491 bags. The drop came as international coffee prices eased following expectation of a stronger harvest in Brazil, the world's largest coffee producer, after months of elevated prices driven by supply concerns. Finally, France has lowered its 2026 economic growth forecast to 0.7%, citing weaker first quarter performance and the impact of ongoing geopolitical tensions. The revision marked the second downgrade this year after the French government cut its outlook from 1% to 0.9% in April. The downgrade reflected weaker than expected activity, the effects of the Middle East conflict, and uncertainty over growth in the second half of the year. Despite easing inflation and signs of stronger household spending, officials say the recovery remained too fragile to support the earlier forecast as France seeks to maintain economic momentum.
Shifting gears to matter sports now, the Kenya Police FC celebrated its top performers at the club end-of-season award gala held in Nairobi, with defender Aboud Omar emerging as the biggest winner of the night. Omar scooped 3 major honors: Most Valuable Player MVP, Defender of the Season, and Goal of the Season after an outstanding 2025-26 campaign. New signing Yves Kwatima also impressed, taking home the Golden Boot and Signing of the Season awards. The men's team finished 3rd in the FKF Premier League but fell 2-1 to Tusker in the Mozart Bet Cup final. Meanwhile, Kenya Police Bullets capped off a successful season by winning a 3rd consecutive FKF Women's Premier League title, securing a place in the Sekafa qualifiers for the CAF Women's Champions League. Ugandan striker Margaret Kunihira was named the Women's Most Valuable Players. Speaking during the gala, Kenya Police Deputy Patron Eliud Lagat reaffirmed the club's commitment to investing in facilities and player development as it targets greater success on the continental stage.
We eye the competition tougher and the challenges greater. But with those challenges come even greater opportunities. I want to encourage both teams to remain focused, ambitious, and committed to the values that brought them this far.
My message to you, you can't be committed, that's fine, but do you have the discipline to see it all the way to the end? So you must, and I'm happy that today we're talking to the discipline forces, so it is something that you have, and maybe that's why you are so successful as a club. So keep it up, continue that way.
Ombi langu ni kwamba kama itawezekana, na najua inawezekana, kama itawezekana, najua saa ingine sisi bana tukiwa kule ground tukifanya makosa, hao wenzetu at least wakiwa promoted, hata nikishikwa naweza mpigia simu.
Congratulations to the team. Moving on, football enthusiasts in Rongai, Kajiado County turned out in large numbers as KBC Channel 1 hosted another Bao Fever watch party, bringing the FIFA World Cup experience closer to Kenyan fans for the highly anticipated round of 16 clash between Spain and Portugal. Sean Muya reports.
Hundreds of football enthusiasts gathered in Rongai to witness the thrilling FIFA World Cup round of 16 encounter between Spain and Portugal, with an electric atmosphere filling the venue as fans cheered on their favorite teams. Spain edged Portugal 1-0 to book a place in the quarter-finals, sparking celebrations among supporters as the match lived up to its billing. Fans praised the Bao Fever watch party, saying the initiative had brought football lovers together and given them an opportunity to enjoy the World Cup on the big screen.
Nakwambia game umekuwa fiti mbaya. Spain amefanya ile kitu. Portugal waenda next time maze. Tunasema tu siku zombo Spain maze.
Supporters also called for more watch parties across the country, saying such initiatives strengthen unity while making the FIFA World Cup more accessible to Kenyan fans.
Africa tumekuwa na letdown mbaya sana ya World Cup. Tulikuwa tuna expect more, lakini so far Morocco imetushikilia. Na pia tuna appreciate sana KBC maze, umetuokolea sana, umetuleta game zote live maze. Big up.
Don't miss all the FIFA World Cup action live on KBC Channel 1 as the Bao Fever watch party continues to bring the world's biggest football spectacle closer to Kenyans across the country. Sean Muya for Lunchtime News.
We still remain your true sports partner, and speaking about the World Cup, yesterday a big disappointment, Egypt going down 3-2 to Argentina. Now Argentina is in the quarterfinals. We only have Morocco, who will be playing France tomorrow. In the other last 16 match, Switzerland won against Colombia after they went into 0-0. They went for the penalties. Anyway, we still support the only African team left, Morocco. Remember that action right here on KBC Channel 1. Many thanks indeed for joining us for this bulletin. My name is Bentro Enjoy. Lucy Moura has been our sign language interpreter for this newscast. On behalf of the big crew which played a key role in ensuring this broadcast is a success, including my director for the day, Mugo Karaoke. Thank you so much for joining us. More news in our subsequent bulletin.